Okay, I'm up in sunny Darwin, looking out over the Arafura Sea. The monsoon low has arrived, and I've been posting the videos from Melbourne's best river bay and Lakeside Walks challenge that I did before I went away, and I've just about finished the videos, and I realised I haven't done a summary video at the end. So yeah, I thought I'd better knock one up today while I'm waiting for the latest shower to pass through. So yeah, this was Julie Monday and Deborah Hayes' book. It's published by Woodslane. It's got 40-day walks around Melbourne in it, and I decided I was gonna, maybe if you've seen the videos you'd know, but I was gonna try and do, there's a little bit of a challenge to keep fit. I was gonna try and do them in a week. Without going crazy. I didn't walk at night or anything like that really. So obviously doing the whole book in 1 week isn't the ideal way to do that book. Julie and Deborah spent a lot of time and a lot of planning and a lot of effort so people could enjoy these walks at their leisure and take everything in. Because I had to kind of think I averaged about 5 or 6 walks a day. I was needless to say moving pretty quick, so I couldn't stop and smell the roses too much. So this obviously isn't the optimum way to do all the walks in Julie and Deborah's book. But as far as the challenge went, it was good fun. Some of the little stats were I did about 210 trail kilometres. And there's probably about another 10 to 15 kilometres walking from particularly public transport when I use that from where I got off the public transport to the start of the walks themselves. My fitness app says I did 310,000 steps and I burnt just under 38,000 calories in the week, which is, it's up there with the through hike. I spent about 6 hours on public transport and I drove, and this was the killer, I drove about 900 kilometres in Melbourne traffic over those 7 days, and that is surprisingly hard work. The walking itself wasn't too bad, but getting from point A to point B to point C to point D was probably the thing that I wasn't prepared for. That really kind of made it a little bit hard. Okay, so I thought I'd just give a few favourites in case anyone's got the book, and for what it's worth, they're my favourites. Everyone's different. Probably my top 3 were Point Cook. Point Cook, I was lucky. I got it as a thunderstorm. I had a lot of rain, as you've noticed if you've watched the videos, and I got it as a big thunderstorm was rolling in, and the light was amazing. And the old Point Cook homestead's always nice to poke around too. Probably my second one would be Yellow Gum and the Plenty River. So Plenty River Gorge. It's a funny walk that I copped it on a really, really bad day. The weather was atrocious, and it still looked pretty good. It's on a nice day, it's a perfect spot, and I've got the inside word that Parks Victoria are actually spending some money out there and going to give it some love, so that will be good. And Red Bluff on Port Phillip Bay, that was probably the third pick of my top 3, I guess. I like the Red Cliffs. The bay, I got it on another bad day, but it was still, even on a bad day, and probably as bad as you could get it, it's still a very nice walk. You get to walk the beach, and you get to walk the cliff tops, and you get the Red Cliffs. So that's my top. They were my favourite 3. If I had to just break it down a bit more, so I've broke it into categories. So the best for coffee or cake or like a feed, I reckon, is probably your Williamstown walk. There's a lot of cafes there, not as many as there used to be, but it's still a good place for a coffee. The biggest surprise in the book, or the biggest surprise walk for me, keeping in mind that I've done probably 80% of those walks over the years before in some form or another. But the biggest surprise for me on that, out of the book, and one that I hadn't done before, was the Darabin Creek walk. It was like a mini little gorge in the middle of suburbia. Just hard to believe it was there. I think it's probably best after rain, like I got it. But yeah, it was surprisingly wild and felt surprisingly remote for somewhere that was, you know, a stone's throw from houses. Public art, if art's your thing, Heidi, can't beat Heidi. But there's a lot of the walks in Melbourne have public art in them, but Heidi obviously is the best. And I kind of call this the best suburban type walk. So when I say suburban, there's like parks like Lilydale Lake, Ruffy, those kind of reclaimed parkland, reclaimed wetland areas. The best one in Melbourne, I reckon, I've done it a few times, is the Wilson Botanic Gardens out at Berwick. It's an amazing little park, that one. So if you live in the southeastern suburbs, it's definitely worth heading out to do. Swimming's your thing, and you don't want to. And I'm more of a freshwater swimmer than an open water swimmer, so I like Listerfield. Listerfield's good for a swim. And photos. This was surprising me a little bit because I've always been a little bit underwhelmed out here. But I got the organ pipes just after this, just as the rain cleared and the cloud was going away and the blue sky came out. So the organ pipes out at Keilor, they're very good for photos. I'd probably go late in the day or early in the morning if you can, but even the middle of the day when I was there was good. So yeah, look, that's my little synopsis of the book and my little summary. So I'd like to thank Julie and Deborah for the effort they put in compiling this book. It must have been a massive effort. It must be a massive effort writing these guidebooks. And I really appreciate the effort involved, and it made my life a lot easier having them work out the logistics and the nuts and the bolts of how to get to these walks and yeah, how long it was going to take and the maps. I didn't have to worry about much at all, just had to carry the book. So do yourself a favour and go out and buy it. There's a 15% discount link in the description of this video below, and all the other videos. So if you want to pick up a copy, which I recommend, go to the link. All right. As you can see, I'm up at Darwin, so I dare say the blog will have some Northern Territory walks coming up on it soon. All right, catch you later.